deeply. In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
Okay, chess family. I'm gonna try this one more time. I'm making this video and I'm trying to get too detailed in explaining the ELO system. So I can't explain it the way I want to explain it. I can't because I just don't know it that well. But it's my contention that the ELO ratings system is flawed. And I'm going to demonstrate some of that and also introduce you to the true ratings chart, the true chess ratings chart that I came up with. And I threw the conversion table in because whenever I do get started with my own federation or league, the rules are going to be played according to true chess rules, and the ratings are going to be by true chess ratings. So your increases and decreases are going to be different. They're going to be calculable. You're going to know, every participant will be able to calculate where their rating will be after each game. When they know who they're playing, they'll be able to say, oh, okay, what's their rating? What section they in? Okay, this is my rating. And it's very simple to decide to know where you're going to end up. So right now, when you go to tournaments, for people who play chess tournaments, you don't know where your rating is going to end up when the tournament is over. You have to wait for them to post it. And even though they use words like constant, they don't have constant. It's really up and down how they do it, and it affects your ability to earn money. And so I'm not going to call all these numbers. You can look at these numbers and see how it translates. I'm currently in my ELO is USCF is 1441. That's my rating. So if I were to participate in my own tournaments, I would be rated between 1640 and 1954. That's just that section right there. I would start playing there in that section. So, you would round it off to the top of the section or the middle of the section, depending on where you are at the top of the section, the middle of the section, of over here. And then you begin to play, at a comparable number against others. But the numbers wouldn't matter as much as they do over here, because the section is much wider. So you're going to filter down to where you're supposed to be. But we get, like, if my 1441, let's say, is just under 25%. Oh, I'm sorry, no, just under 12%. Then that's where we would we go 12% from top to bottom here. So you go 12%, point in this from 1640 to 1954. Let me go on. All right, so I want to show why my system is so much better and why that system is flawed. Players who enter the true chess system would have their USCF FIDE ratings converted. Okay. Players' ratings would change every game in an easy and to calculate fashion. All right, so players who are in the same section at the beginning of a tournament will see their ratings increase 31.4 for a win, and the losing player will see a ratings decrease of 31.4 for the loss. Now, that's if you're in the same section. Period. Whether you're at the top or at the bottom, you're in the same section, that's how much it's changing. Your rating changes according to the section you're in and the person that you're playing against, where their section is. The losing player, okay, so a drawing game for the people in the same section would see no ratings change for either player. All right, but so if a person was in section 1 playing somebody in section 2, one section difference, then the changes would be different. You could see an increase of 46.6 for the win. If you're the lower rated person, the higher rated person, they would only see a 15.2 increase for the win. But the higher rated person would see a 46.6 loss in their rating points for a loss to somebody in that lower section. But the person in the lower section would only see a 15.2 loss for a loss against somebody in the higher section. And so the rest of that is just explained. The rest of the sections from 2 sections separate, 3 sections different, 4 sections different, all the way down to 5 sections. So 9 sections separate. If you and your opponent are separated by 9 sections, they're 9 sections higher. So they're in 9 and you're in 1. If you're in 1 and they're in 2, that's 1 section different. If they're in 9 and you're in 1 and they're in 9, that's 8 sections different. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 sections different. Okay, so this will be your difference right here. 172 points. That's what the higher rated person would stand to lose in one game, but they couldn't gain any points if they won. and the lower rated person could gain 172.2 points, but they wouldn't lose any if they lost. All right. So again, these are the numbers for those sections. You talk about somebody 3,500 plus strength to somebody 1,000. All right. So now this just gives you an idea of the types of gains a person can make when they're winning games, whether they are playing people with their rating strength or, whatever's going on, they're going to be able to gain significantly for a win or for a loss. You don't get the type of sweet win and loss variance in the ELO system, which is why. So I'll go into more of that in a minute. So most players don't know how ratings are calculated, and for good reason. Most players don't feel the need to know how it's done. I once asked the tournament director how it was done, and he said that he couldn't explain it. He was just being honest. I wanted to know because I was competing in hopes of winning prize money in the section that I was in. I believed that I had a good chance to win a prize in that section, if not first place. And at the last minute, I was told that I could not play in that section. I was told that I had to play in the next higher section, which immediately my chances, the odds of me placing within the first 5 or 10 places where money is involved diminished immediately, because no longer am I playing under 1,500, I'm playing under 1,700. All right, so the director refused to abide by the rules that they had set. All right, so let's go on down. Now this is how ELO scores are determined. So when you're playing somebody who's ELO or their rating, let's say is 2,100, like we're going to see an example. Yours is 2,100, theirs is 2,100. So there's no difference in ELO rating. So then the expected score at the end of the game is 50%. Your expected score is 0.5, which is a draw. A draw, you would get 0.5, 50%, for half of a point. That's what a draw is, and that's what you expected to do against somebody that's of equal strength. And so if you did win, the most you could get, as they show down here, is half of the constant. And the constant is 30, something I didn't know anything about until I went online and pulled these numbers up. So, and half of the constant is 15. So you beat somebody that's the same rating as you are, you get 15 points. So you go from 2,100 to 2,115, and they would drop from 2,100 to 2,085. But the next example shows where the person's original, and there's REN is the new rate, RO is the old rate, and S is the score, SC is the expected score, and C is the constant. All right, and here their ratings was 100 points apart. They were rated 100, so one was 2,100, maybe the other one was 2,000, which the expected score was 0.69 for the higher rated person. The lower rated person expected score was 0.31. Anyway, the higher rated person won, and that made them eligible, after all the math is done, for 9 rating points increase. So they went from 2,100 to 2,109 because they were rated 100 points higher. So again, expected score, they scored a 69. So instead of going up 100 points, they only went up 9 points. Why? Because the difference in rating between them was 100 points, but this here only corresponds to like 31%, which would bring them closer to 9 than to 20. See, anyway, I'm showing you all this. I can't explain it all. Here's my whole point about the whole thing. It's still difficult to explain. I say it right sometimes, and I get it right in my mind all the time. All I can tell you is it's an elaborate system that doesn't allow for the type of changes that should happen with the players' rating after wins and losses and draws. All right, so let's go on. The true chess system would more accurately determine a player's rating and their strength in comparison to other players. Stronger players would separate themselves from weaker players with every win, as they should. The separation made in the above system allows weaker players to stay relatively close in rating to much stronger players. Long story short, Gary Kasparov would have been in a class almost, I wanted to say by himself, but yeah, Karpov did, a couple other people. But he had been in a class almost by himself during his great run as world chess champion, and Magnus Carlsen would be following suit. So he's rated. Magnus Carlsen right now is rated, 2,800 something, close, not that far in points from much weaker players, people that he's not going to be losing to, that he may draw with, but he ain't going to be losing to. He's going to be ready to lose to them, and he'll probably beat them 9 out of 10 times. It's where a winner would be decided, a win would be decided. Hence him and Hikaru Nakamura. No disrespect to either players, but he would be. His rating would continue to go up. It wouldn't be stuck around 2,800 because he'd be gaining 31 points every time he beat somebody that he's near in ratings. He don't win that many points right now. All right. Okay. And so anyway, the things that would keep him in the same spot would be draws. All right. Okay, note that the constant used in the formula by the ELO actually changes in certain circumstances, distorting ratings in favor of the strongest player. So it's not really constant. They call it constant, but if it was constant, I wouldn't be as upset by it, or as displeased with it. Furthermore, bonus points are given for what is determined to be excellent or brilliant performances. Now, the bonus point thing seems terribly unfair because it unjustly allows the highest rated to earn them, while brilliant performances by lower rated players have no chance of being similarly rewarded. Okay, these things are left to the discretion of certain individuals who are in a position to make these judgments. Can we trust them to judge fairly? And this takes me to my next point. I played in the unrated section in 2008 Chess Open. It's over here. This would be me right here. I ended up with 2 losses and 5 wins. So we were rated, all of us had the same thing, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 did too. So 4 of us did. This gentleman here, the number 1 guy, he had 7 wins to no losses. All right. I had never played a standard rated game, yet I had a provisional standard rating applied to me. That's not the main reason. That's not the point, though. All right. The player that won first place had no rating applied to him before the tournament started, as he had never played a tournament game at any time control. It's a very nice gentleman. This young guy, young white guy from a northern suburb, I believe, and a really nice guy. When he won the game against me, afterwards we talked about the game, and he pointed some things out to me that, just really didn't mean I need to let go and be done with, which I appreciated him telling me that. Really good, even-tempered guy, and I appreciated him. Anyway, so he had no rating because he had never played a tournament game. His post rating, this is the point, was 1963, and his P7 stands for provisional. But I don't even know why they put that there, because he played in A class from that point on. He played people 1900 in the following tournaments. Now, the problem I have with this is the fact that he had only beaten players with no or low ratings. So how could they justify giving him a rating of 1963 after those 7 games? He was no longer eligible to compete against the very group that he should have been able to compete against. This means that the chances for him to enter an expensive tournament, and you talk about room and board at those hotels and travel to these places, okay? This meant that the chances for him to enter an expensive tournament in hopes of placing in first or second place to win the money, they were greatly and unfairly reduced. His chances of winning was just, shot down. According to the ELO system, as detailed above, his rating should have increased by no more than 30 times 7, equaling to 210 points. So the 30 being a constant, and 7 the number of games that he had played. All right. So wherever the Chess Federation starts a new player off at, true chess system, you start with 1012.5. That's 1,012 points. I don't know where the Chess Federation starts people off at, because if they start you off at something like 1,400, add 210 points to that, you know, see what I'm saying? 1,600, B class player, you know. So he went from, I guess he went straight to the expert. Okay. So here it is. Here too, it is left to the discretion of certain individuals to determine a player's rating. Ratings should be determined by set rules. All right, so I entered the tournament 1 month after the Chicago Open in 2008, where I won 2 games, lost 1, and had a draw. The draw was with a guy who had not yet played a standard rated game. He won 3 games and had the 1 draw with me. His highest rated opponent came in at 1604. I came at the tournament at 1469 provisional with 14 games. I don't write that down. With 14 games being played. And I beat somebody of 1577 strength and another one of 1561. My post-tournament rating was 1561 after 18 games. I was still provisional. So the guy I drew had a post-tournament rating of 1847 provisional after those 4 games, so P4. All right. The system failed him as well. As of May 30 of 2016, you're talking 8 years later, he has a rating of 1865. So 8 years later, his rating is basically the same. Now, trust me, I played club chess with this guy, you know, in Hyde Park in Chicago. Trust me, his rating has not been allowed to move in a way that will reflect his true strength. So he shouldn't have been rated as high as he was after that tournament, after those 4 games. And if the chess ratings, the ELO ratings, were able to go up and down properly enough distance with each game, they will reflect, his rating will reflect his true chess strength. I realized a long time ago that where you get set at, it's very difficult to change. You know, he's got to play a lot of games, a lot of tournaments to really see significant change to your rating, which that shouldn't be the case. You know, in true chess, you're going to go up. But every game, you know, you're going to go up. All right, let me go ahead. The ELO system does have some merits, and with all of its flaws, it has served well enough for quite some time. I've never heard players complain about their ratings, but that is not to say that they never do. All right, let me go on down because I want to finish this up. All right, so the true chess system and the tournaments that I would have, they would be played by the true chess rules. I have a video on that called True Chess, the rules chess is meant to be played by, where I show that a pawn should never be able to make a move of 2 steps. You should never be able to go from E2 to E4 or from D7 to D5. You should never be able to do that. It always should go 1 step at a time. They changed that rule in order to speed up the game, which took away some of the spirit of the game and made necessary a rule called impasse. The other rule, which is more significant here, this is more serious right here, that needs to be implemented, that will be implemented in my true chess, and I can't wait to get software hooked up where we have a website where it's played and the chess is played by these rules. Your king should always be able to move into attack. It should be able to move to a square that is under attack, and if the opposing player sees that it's there, it should be captured. Every other piece can be placed into a place where it can be captured. The king should be able to do the same. That rule protects weaker players and is ridiculous, and it is the sole reason you have there's just so many drawn games. It's far more drawn games than it is decided games, which is ridiculous, and it's because of that rule right there. That is the #1 main rule. The chess games that end up drawn because both players realize they can't make any progress, or that one is able to check the other one repeatedly, you know, or 50 moves made without, and I'm not certain, I get this confused, 50 moves made without the moving of a pawn or the capture of a pawn. Those are legitimate reasons for drawn games, but it's far more the case is that games are drawn because you can't move the king in the check. You know, it's just ridiculous. You know, I hate that. So when I get my system started in my website and True Chess rules, that's gonna change everything. And this True Chess system and rating gonna make it much more fun, and it's gonna take this nonsense out of it. Another thing is this calling people masters. While I'm hoping to get support from you all to get back into the tournaments and make some pretty steep advances in my ratings, and hopefully I can shoot right on up to expert, and I'm talking about after about 20 games, expert and eventually master. I'm hoping that happens, but at the same time, I realize that this title master and grandmaster in chess is ridiculous. Who can give you the algorithm or formula that guarantees a win? Nobody. Nobody's mastered chess. What are they talking about? Fritz hadn't mastered chess. You know? So that's ridiculous. That needs to end. I said a lot. Look, check out the videos, my diametrical, the board game. Come on ahead and support it, get behind it. You might want to become a partner in it. It's money to be made. But I got a million ideas. They just don't stop. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm the one that came up with the calendar. I'm the one that came up with chess as an expression of pi, to show the true values of the pieces. You just can't argue with these things. I mean, you can argue with them, but it's like arguing with the sunrise. It's usually going to come up, and it's usually going to set in a visible fashion. But we know what's going to happen every day. To argue with me saying they're going to happen is ridiculous. To argue with me about 1 + 1 being 2 is ridiculous. And so is the systems that I come up with, because I receive them, on a higher level. But I'm just trying to get attention. I'm trying to get you all to, if you know people who are in a position to get behind these projects and want to see themselves prosper in it, my diametrical, onerasul@gmail.com. All right, family. I took long enough with this here, but I really wanted to go through that about the rating system, because this federation's rating system is ridiculous. And even though they just made some more changes to it in January, I didn't know they did in January 2017. I didn't know I just found that out, but nothing's gonna really, clean this thing up until they change. It should not be their discretion to decide, and I'm not mad at it, but it shouldn't be their discretion to decide where your ratings is. It should be rules that are set that decide it. All right, family, I've said enough. Peace.
I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher